I know. Wait, give it a chance. Give it a chance. Okay, so you're finding the important details in the passage that you're reading. Because you know, sometimes when you read passages, they give you kind of like extra information. You don't really need everything. Does that make sense? Okay. So what were you gonna say?
What she was gonna say.
You're gonna say what she's gonna say. See, this we just gotta give people a chance. All right. So let's go through this passage. I'm gonna look at yours with you, Caitlin. Okay. All right. Who wants to read? Who wants to read? Brandon, you look like you want to read. Okay, how about this? I start, right? And then when I stop, you start, and then you go.
Yeah.
You don't like reading out loud? Why not?
I mean,
You're not shy. I don't believe it. All right. Queen Hulda and the Flax. There was once a poor peasant named Hans. He lived with his wife and children in a valley at the foot of a snow-capped mountain. Hans often drove his sheep to pasture up the mountainside. He always carried his crossbow with him to protect the sheep. He was a skillful marksman. Once in a while, Hans would shoot a deer. The deer meat would serve as food for his family for many days. One day, Hans was watching his sheep while they grazed on the mountainside. Suddenly, a deer appeared. Its spreading antlers glittered in the morning sunlight with wonderful brightness. The deer bounded across the pasture to the rocks higher up the mountain. Hans followed quickly, hoping to approach near enough to shoot an arrow. From rock to rock, higher and higher, Hans followed the deer until at last they were at the summit of the mountain. Sorry.
They sped over the snow until the deer disappeared. Hans followed more slowly along a dark and narrow tunnel. Suddenly he caught a glimpse of a bright light in the distance. He walked on and soon reached a brightly lit cave. From the walls and ceilings of the cave hung many wonderful crystals and precious stones. A tall woman dressed in pure white stood in the midst of the cave. A golden girdle was fastened around her waist. A crown set with jewels rested on her head. In her hand she held a bunch of blue flowers. Lovely maidens in dainty robes with graceful wreaths of alpine roses on their heads attended their queen. Overcome with wonder, Hans knelt before the beautiful woman. As if in a dream, he heard her say very softly, "Choose for yourself what will of my treasures, gold or silver or precious stones."
Ready?
Good.
most gracious queen, replied Hans, I asked only for the flowers in your hand. The queen was pleased, and she gave the flowers to Hans at once. You have chosen well, she said. Also take these seeds and sow them in your field. Suddenly, a peal of thunder shook the grotto. When it had
Ceased.
ceased,
Do you know what cease
Hans,
means? What does cease mean?
like prison.
When something ceases or ceases, that means that it stops. Okay.
Hans found himself standing alone in the mountain. When Hans reached home, he showed his wife the blue flowers and the seeds that he'd been given him by the queen. Wonderful crystals and precious stones hang from the ceiling of the cave. The queen is more powerful than all. Beautiful than all, exclaimed Hans.
Go ahead, Brandon.
Why did you not choose some of the diamonds and gold, asked his wife, and she scolded Hans roundly because he had taken only flowers and seeds. Hans made no reply, but he went to the fields and plowed the ground. Then he carefully sowed the seeds that the queen had given him. The weeks passed by. Tiny green leaves began to show above the ground. The plants grew taller and taller, and then the blue flowers began to appear. The flowers were so beautiful that even the angry wife was pleased. She had never seen anything like them. Hans watched his fields day and night. One moonlight night, he saw the lovely queen from the cave walking about among the flowers with her maidens. They seemed to be guarding the blossoms.
You want to read, Alexis? I mean, why do people call you Alexis? Tatiana, you want to read? Go ahead.
At last the flowers had yielded and the seed were
Right.
ripe. And the queen
Appeared.
appeared at the
Cottage.
Uh-huh.
queen said,
Hulda.
I have come to teach you how to spin and
Weave.
the blue fell out. The blue flowers that were as trees are called
Flax.
and the queen had a very much. Queen held up the
Pot. Tot.
top and his wife how to spin and weave
Linen.
cloth
Cloth. Fibers. Alright, so that was a long story, right? Lots and lots and lots of details, right? So what we're going to do is go back to the very front. Go back. Alright, a lot of the times what we did before, I said when you read passages or sometimes when you read long stories, it's good to go back and reread it. Alright, but we're not going to reread the whole thing at one time. When we're paragraph shrinking, it's basically you're just finding the important details and you're just putting them in less words. Alright, because sometimes you see how you have the first paragraph and the second paragraph, those are pretty small, right? We're going to combine the details in them to say, to kind of summarize what happened. Does that make sense? All right, so let's go back to the first two paragraphs. All right, so there was once a poor peasant named Hans. He lived with his wife and children in a valley at the foot of a snow-capped mountain. At the foot of Snow-Capped Mountain, what does that mean? Okay, we know that they lived at a mountain, but what? At the bottom. Good, at the foot of the Snow-Capped Mountain. That doesn't mean when someone says at the foot of something. Does that make sense? All right. Hans often drove his sheep to pasture up the mountainside. He always carried his crossbow with him to protect the sheep. He was a skillful marksman. All right, so first the question that we asked is who, right? Who are we talking about? Who are these two? Hans. Okay, so we have that down. All right, now who, we said Hans is the who. What about him?
He's a
poor
skillful
peasant.
Okay, he's a skillful what?
marksman.
Marksman, what else?
And
He's a poor peasant.
He's a poor peasant. Anything else that we need to know that's probably informational or important? He lived with his wife and children.
He lives at the foot of the snow.
Okay, so let's combine all those details, all right? So we know that these two paragraphs is about Hans, who's a peasant, all right, who lives at the foot of a snow-capped mountain with his wife and children, and he's a skillful marksman. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Did we sum that up well?
Yes.
Right? All right, so let's try the third and the fourth paragraph. Let's try to do those together. Sum them up. You want to read that silently and then come back? All right, let's try it. We're going to read the third and fourth paragraph, and then you're gonna come up with details, and we're gonna do the exact